What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's Monday. I hope everyone is having a lovely start to their week. Good morning, El Cid. She said good morning to me and to the chat. And she would also like for y'all to like, share, and subscribe. That's the thing to do. I always appreciate that. We over here, having a little conversation. It's Monday. We back at work. We had to switch gears from yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Get in this office, get caught up, wherever you at, over to your desk, around to, the kitchen, wherever you listen. We over here getting it started this week. So one thing, first of all, like Elsie said, like, share, subscribe. We're over here at Coffee Talk. And Coffee Talk is where, we have discussions about current events, a little bit of celebrity gossip. We're going to talk about Black excellence and Black history. Because if we don't talk about it over here, where are we going to talk about it at? El Cid, you said you're at work making people day, not sending out nasty letters. You are or you're not? You're sending out nasty letters. That's your favorite? Huh. I mean, whatever it takes to float your boat, girl. You know what I'm saying? It's Monday. What they do? Are they deserving of these nasty letters? We like our coffee black over here. We do. Some of us do. I like my coffee with a little bit of cream in it. Now, I just, I need a little sweet. I need a little sweet added to my coffee. But, it's fine because just like the culture, there's various complexions of the coffee. And, we all like it, how we like it. It's funny, you just said, excuse me, it's funny that you said, you sending out these nasty letters. Sometimes it's necessary to do that because a lot of the times, people never want to be a part of the process, but they want to be a part of the outcome. The process is where you figure out who's worth being part of the outcome. How many people, like, back in the day when you were in school and you had a project to do and there was that person that said, Malcolm X said he only likes his coffee integrated. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about Coffee Talk is because there's even variations in how we like our coffee. None of them wrong. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got a little coffee. Oh, we do tea, we do mocha matcha, but there's variations and integrations, like Elsie said. But yeah, the people that want to be a part of the outcome and not a part of the work. Remember back in the day when you were in school and you had group projects to do, and there was, the person that tends to take the lead, the person that's kind of appointed the lead, and the person who wants to be the lead but ain't got no business being the lead. And then you got those people that are like, I mean, we're going to contribute. Just tell me what I need to do. We're going to make this thing happen. Those are good people to have on your team. Let's figure out what we excel at. We could work together on this thing to have a positive outcome. Then you got those people that, they was too busy. The dog ate their homework. They didn't feel good. They had a headache. It was traffic. You got those people that come to the end of the project and want to write their name on it. And when the presentation is happening, they just standing there smiling because they don't know what the hell is going on. But when it's time for the photo shoot, they want to be all up in picture, want their name written down on things. That's that type of person. You don't need that type of person. If you're not trying to be a part of the process, then you won't be a part of the outcome over here because that's not how we do things. So when you're moving along and you're picking your teams, you be very careful about who your teammates are because, not all of them are willing to put in the work. So that's where we're going to end that. What we got going on over here? What they say, down to the blogs, down to the timeline. Let me get over to my timeline so we can get into what we get into over here. Let's see. It was an interesting weekend, I guess. A lot going on. Misogyny wins. I mean, this weekend, that's where we at over here. Let's start here. Let's not talk about the misogyny of it all just yet. Let's talk about the tenacity of it all. Sylvia Dubois did not ask for her freedom. She took it by force when she grabbed a chair and struck her enslaver. These chairs have been a part of our program for a long time. Sylvia Dubois did not ask for her freedom. She took it by force. What year was that? Obviously she was enslaved. So, once again, here go a woman tired of the bull nonsense. In 1808, that's when it was. In 1808, when Dubois got into an argument with her enslaver, she picked up a chair and struck her mistress with it, knocking her to the ground and causing a serious blow. I shouldn't be so entertained by that. But anyway, let me keep going before I get in trouble. Other people who saw the situation were too intimidated by Dubois to intervene. Therefore, instead of getting a punishment, her enslaver let her go. The power of a chair over here. Her personal narrative was recorded in 1883 during an interview with Dr. Cornelius Wilson Larson, leading to publication of Sylvia Dubois, a biography of a slave who whipped her master and grant her freedom. This work provides a unique perspective on the experience of enslaved people in the northern United States, encountering the common belief that slavery was primarily a Southern institution. Dubois passed away 6 years after her interview, likely around the age of 100, while leaving behind an important legacy, the study of American slavery. When you just tired, you tired. That's the only way I could look at it. And even to the point of I just have this visual and I can't help but sniggle and giggle. And I'm not going to do that because it's inappropriate. But the thought of her slapping the shit out of Missy with a chair excites me and entertains me. That would have been a heavy chair. I don't know how heavy it was, but it was effective. It was effective enough for her to slap that lady down off her feet. You know what I'm saying? Until freedom. So, what did Beyonce say? Come on, ladies, let's get information. We might need to bring our chairs as well, because it seems like it's going to be up to us anyway. When is the point, that our community is going to get so upset that they're going to pick up some chairs? Just, based on what's going on. I feel like I see far too much I don't know. What's the word? Non-interest, complacency. I see far too much complacency among people who just don't care enough to say something. We have gone through a lot in this last week in terms of rights. This lady back in 1808 was slapping people down with a chair on behalf of us. And we sitting here talking about my internet, my Wi-Fi, my DoorDash. We're going to let convenience be the end of us. I really feel like that. I feel like in a lot of ways, we're going to let convenience be the reason why we lose all our damn rights. I don't feel like my vote doesn't count anyway. We make up an excuse to not do the work. It's exhausting and unfortunate. We need to channel some of the tenacity of Miss Sylvia Dubois and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? And not just us, allies too. Y'all want to get to the cookout so bad? We might have a special cookout just, to invite, like family and friends day. Like we might have allies day over at the cookout. You know what I'm saying? But before you can get your ticket, you're going to have to pick up a chair. I don't want to see you do the Dougie. I don't want to see you do the, Chris Brown, well, I treat you well. I don't want to see you do any of that. Pick up a chair and let's get some work done, because over here, if you're not going to be part of the process, then you don't get to be part of the outcome. And the outcome is the cookout. And since y'all want to be over here so bad, like I said, pick up a chair. We have some work to do. Heavy chair, lightweight chair, I don't care. Grab a chair. Teach your kids. Teach your kids how to grab a chair. Anyway, at 103, will you look at this woman at 103? I don't know what she ate in her life, but geez, oh Pete. At 103, it's giving 70. Rachel Robinson is still defying limits and just getting started. She's just getting started at 103. Whoa. And I mean that in the best way. Like she still got, like we were talking about tenacity, she still got it in her to keep going. She got her chair. She's earned her chair. Rachel Robinson sent Jackie Robinson's engagement ring right back. Thank you very much. And the great Jackie Robinson, when he tried controlling her independence. In 1943, when baseball legend Jackie Robinson attempted to block his fiancée from joining the Women's Army Corps, Rachel made a statement that would define their entire relationship. She wasn't willing to compromise her autonomy, for anyone, not even the man who would become her husband and change sports history forever. You know, you got to set your boundaries to create your terms and conditions before you go into matrimony. So I'm guessing that's what was happening here. She don't want your ring. She don't care if you Jackie Robinson. She's not about to tell her what to do. She already got her chair. She's not afraid to use it. While Jackie faced racial barriers on the baseball field, Rachel was fighting her own battles behind the scenes. During spring training in 1946, she quietly endured pregnancy complications while serving as Jackie's emotional anchor through death threats and racial slurs. So while she was dealing with her own stuff, pregnancy complications, meaning her own hormonal imbalances and emotional, stress, and she was there still helping him, Jackie, deal with, the stuff he was going through. She broke segregation rules by using white women's restrooms on flights and became the only wife at Royals camp, all while pursuing her master's degree at NYU, teaching at Yale, running the Connecticut Mental Health Center, and raising 3 children under constant threat. What they say, behind every strong man. At 103 years old, Rachel Robinson has proven that she's never just a footnote in Jackie's story. After his death, she built the Jackie Robinson Foundation, helping over 1,700 Black students graduate with a 98% success rate. That's insane. I would love to see what the success rates are now, but she was putting out a number like 98%. That's incredible. Improving 1,600 low income and providing my bad. She had let me go back. So Black students graduate with a 98% success rate and providing 1,600 low income housing units. Jackie once called her his strength, obviously, but Rachel Robin was always a force of nature on her own right. She's transformed personal tragedy into generational triumph, proving that behind every great man who's changed history was a woman who was already making her own. That doesn't surprise me. 103 years old, and she is freaking beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, and has gone through all of that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you have a person, like he's an athlete, he's an icon, he's, dealing with all kind of racial injustice. And, you know what that's like, bringing that home. Probably not the most, pleasant situation to be in. Shout out to Rachel Robinson. What a beautiful lady. She's still rounding her own bases. Yeah, she is. And they said she just getting started. So 103. I mean, we'll see how far she going. Can't stop, won't stop. That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful woman. I love this girl's podcast. I just, I mean her YouTube, Instagram, her content. I love this girl's content. And so, I would probably be using her often. But she just wanted to bring a little excellence in, and she states that, far better than I could. She's already done all the research. It says, I don't think people understand how direct the line is. One role on TV, one conversation, and suddenly you're looking at who gets to go to space. And this is part of the reason why, like we say over here all the time, why representation is so important.
Show in 1967, Martin Luther King Jr. stopped her. And that conversation is part of the reason the American space program ended up with a generation of astronauts who didn't all look the same. Her name was Nichelle Nichols. In 1966, she was cast as Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek. Uhuru from the Swahili word uhuru, which meant freedom. She was the communications officer on the Enterprise, on the bridge, handling systems, speaking multiple languages, at a time when most Black women on television were being cast in roles built around servitude or caricatures. She was doing something different. But she didn't think it was landing. Her lines were being cut. She dealt with racism on set, and she wasn't being shown the full picture of how her audience was responding to her. It was sabotage, y'all. They were diverting her fan letters. So by the end of the first season, she had another opportunity waiting, Broadway. So she told Gene Roddenberry that she was done, but he asked her to take the weekend. And that weekend, she attended an NAACP event. Someone approached her and said that there was a fan who wanted to meet her. She turned around, and it was Martin Luther King Jr. He told her he watched Star Trek and that he let his children stay up to see it too. And when she told him she was planning to leave, he stopped her. He told her that what she was doing on that show mattered, that for the first time, Black audiences were seeing themselves represented on screen in roles tied to intelligence, authority, and possibility, not as background, not as relief, but as part of the future, you know? And that if she left, that image would disappear. So she heard him, and she went back to work on Monday. 10 years later, NASA was recruiting for the space shuttle. And over 8 months, they had got 1,500 applicants, fewer than 100 from women, 35 from people of color. So NASA called Nichelle Nichols, and she agreed to help them on one condition. She told them that she's going to bring them so many qualified Black, Asian, Latino, and women applicants, and that if they don't choose any of them, every newspaper in this country is going to know why. I know that's right. I know that's right. So she toured 4 months with them. She put on that blue NASA flight suit and recruited across the country. And by the end, the applicant pool had grown from 1,500 to over 8,000, 1,649 women, over 1,000 people of color. And out of that class, NASA selected 35 applicants. Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. Ellison Onizuka, the first Asian American in space. Guion Bluford, the first Black American man in space. Ronald McNair, the second Black American man in space. Frederick Gregory, the first Black American to command a shuttle mission. Charles Bolden eventually became the administrator of NASA. Every single one of them was recruited by a woman who almost quit a TV show in 1967. People love to say representation is performative, that it's decoration, that it's just TV, you know? But here's what it actually is. It's a pipeline. It's a door that one person refuses to let close. Also, the next person can walk through. In 1967, a Black woman almost walked away from a stage. A man who would be assassinated 9 months later told her to stay. And she stayed. And the first Black woman to ever reach orbit, Mae Jemison, she said that she applied to NASA because she grew up watching Uhura. Jemison later appeared in an episode of Star Trek herself, the first real astronaut ever cast on the show. A straight line, y'all, from one conversation at an NAACP fundraiser to a Black woman in space who first saw herself there on a television screen. That is the entire pipeline. Nichelle Nichols died in 2022. Her ashes were launched into orbit. That was not symbolism. That was the receipt. Say her name. Nichelle Nichols. My God. Incredible. Incredible. A Black woman almost quit a TV.
It is incredible. And I'll never see Star Trek the same way, because I feel like as a kid, like you're in the fantasy of it and you don't appreciate it. And thank you to this young lady for sharing the story in that way. A lot of the things that go on, we look at these images and take them for granted. And then the story changes, and I think that's why some of us reject Zeus TV and that kind of thing, because it's so important. Like, that's the narrative that's always been put out about us. And imagine being, in a place where you don't know any Black people. There's not populated with Black people, and all you know about, the culture is Jocelyn, Hernandez, the Puerto Rican princess, or any of those other women over there on the Bad Girls Club fighting and boxing. I'm speaking on behalf of women. You know what I'm saying? Because Men got to pass, ignorant or not. So yeah, representation is important. We talked about the Proud family being over, Penny Proud being over at Disneyland. These are the people that influence your children, the next generation. And so, again, I'm never gonna see Star Trek the same way. Almost want to go see. And I do remember, like, I wasn't a huge Star Trek fan, but I do remember, you know, her character on the show definitely was a character that required respect. She wasn't on no massa, let me, serve you type. She was smart. She was over there running things, and they went over there to, get her opinion on how things should happen. So Star Trek in itself was a diverse television show. There was diversity over there, but I mean, obviously dealing with racism in Hollywood. So, yeah, we got to think about the people that we're putting in position to represent, for ourselves as Black people in the media, because it matters. Your boy over here doing his thing again. They're suing companies for hosting women's only events in 2026, child. This is where we're at. This is what happens when progress start making people uncomfortable. Why are men so insecure? Like, it's so annoying. Women create spaces to support each other, build leadership skills, and open doors where that were historically closed, and suddenly it's being labeled discrimination. Let's be very clear. Those rooms didn't come from out of nowhere. They exist because women were excluded from the original ones. And now, instead of fixing the imbalance, the conversation is shifting to policing the solution. That's not by accident. That should concern you, especially if you care about access, opportunity, and building wealth in rooms that were never designed with you in mind. I don't want to go in those rooms. I prefer just build my own box and build my own room. And y'all gonna come because you nosy and you want to see what's over there. Because as long as women keep trying to fight this fight of, being heard in the boardroom full of men, they don't want it. They know you're smarter. They know you're better. They know that's why they don't want you there. Wealth was not just about money. It's about proximity. It's about networks. It's about being in spaces where opportunities are created and shared. So for those spaces, so if those spaces start disappearing, what do you think happens next? Good question. So what's next? Just to give up? I don't see it. The Trump administration has filed a lawsuit against a company for hosting a women's only networking retreat. I wonder which company it is, because apparently supporting women equals discrimination now. I feel like this conversation is about y'all over there who didn't see, this coming, because you thought it was about, white people and not about women being discriminated against. Y'all thought it was just about, white power. The Coca-Cola distributor, oh, okay, it was Coca-Cola. A Coca-Cola distributor hosted an event for 250 women employees focused on career development, networking, and leadership conversations. And now it's in court. I would love to get some information on this case. The claim men were excluded from professional opportunities, so the government says it violates Title 7, 10, 12. What is V? X is 10, V is 20, Title 22, I think. Y'all let me know in Greek. V is 20 and 211. So I'm going to say Title 22 discrimination laws. Let's translate that. Spaces created to support women in male-dominated industries are now being reframed as reverse discrimination. They're so panty babies. And this isn't random. It's part of a bigger crackdown on DEI programs across corporate America. See, y'all thought DEI just meant Black people. Hello. Companies are being told if it's not open to everyone, it could get you sued. So guess what happens next? Stop working for Coke. I mean, that would be my answer. For hell with y'all. They stopped creating these spaces entirely. I feel like if you're in a place where you need to create this space, then let them have it and do something different. Come up with, some other, I mean, don't have no soda anyway. They can sit over there and drink that soda and then be somewhere, with a leg amputated from all the sugar. Anyway, and when that happens, we go right back to rooms where women are unrepresented, networks we weren't invited to, opportunities we have to fight to get access. I feel like it's playing out. It's playing out right now in real time. If this doesn't sit right with you, do something about it. Vote in every election. I mean, that's part of the plan, to go ahead and vote. A lot of people don't. V is 5. Okay, so it's 7. Okay, yeah. X is 10. Thank you, El Cid, because I'm over here guessing. And the real heat of this heart of the story is y'all over here wasting your time trying to get a corner office, and they just want you to go get their coffee. You're a Trekkie. I'm not surprised because you're also, what is it, a Game of Thrones. I used to watch Star Trek as a kid, but I'm not a Trekkie. But out of I prefer Star Trek to Star Wars, and I would watch Star Trek, and not intentionally, like it probably came on before or after something that I was already watching, because you know how our afternoon programming went as children. Well, mine, I'm older than you, but I don't think it was that much different. Good morning, E Troop. But they were all very cool over there. I just think that space over there on the spaceship Enterprise, is that Star Trek? That ain't Star Trek. Anyway, over there with Captain Kirk and them, it was definitely a diverse community. Captain Kirk was Community Galaxy property. Hey, and he's still having the time of his life. If you ever see William Shatner like in his real life, he is having a whole ball over there. So yeah, as far as the corner office, you can keep it. You down to Coca-Cola. I feel like women have better ideas, are more creative. You can fight me if you want to, but I'm not changing my mind. And so, yeah, let them have it. Because the thing about it is, they'll be over there with each other, not having a good time, wanting to know what's going on over here. I remember, okay, so this is a story I wasn't there for, I wasn't born for, but my mom said that my brother and my sister, they were 2 years apart. And she said they had, the boys made a clubhouse, and they weren't letting the girls go over there. So the girls made their own clubhouse. And my mom said all of a sudden her canned goods and things start missing from the kitchen. So the girls' clubhouse was bringing things from their house. They had like, canned peaches and, whatever kind of things they could find at the house. So they were over there having sandwiches and drinks. And the boys were over there like probably under some unstable, fort that they made with a bunch of sticks and swords, while the girls were over there enjoying lovely peaches, peanut butter tea sandwiches and things. So, that's why you have to create your own box. Let them have it. They'll have some Coca-Cola and then they'll want to punch each other. Let the men have it and isolate themselves. That's what I say, El Cid. Let them have it. We don't want to be over there anyway. Wherever we are, it's going to be better. It's going to be more comfortable. It's going to smell better. It's going to look better. You're going to be over there like some boys in a funky fort with sticks and twigs, instead of being in a woman, what do you call it? She shed. Instead of being in a she shed somewhere with lovely snacks and, cushy pillows and things to discuss life. Anyway, y'all can have it. I'm not interested in a corner, what do you call it? Corner office, so I can look out. Why in New York do they, and I don't know that she was talking about New York, but why do New York, do they try to sell everything by saying you could look at Central Park, which was, a historically black, what do you call it, land. Saw a story of a young lady made a cupboard to give free feminine items for the girls in the school. Yeah, and they need them because some of the half of them's mama ain't educating them on how to, handle their personal hygiene. Good morning, T. Um, yeah, so be careful, all you ladies out there in corporate America. Don't try to gather together, within the bounds of the company because they gonna sue you because they said y'all can't gather together. It's man discrimination. I heard Queen Latifah say this. I just wanted to share it.
And be trying to keep you from voting. So I feel the same way about womanhood. If we weren't so powerful, there wouldn't be such a push to keep us in a place. Well, if the vote wasn't worth something, they wouldn't be trying to keep you from voting. So I feel the same way about womanhood. If we weren't so powerful, there wouldn't be such a push to keep us in a place. Well,
I'm not going in a place. That ain't never been me. So you said because Central Park is the only major green area in New York. They'd be like, this apartment is $700 billion because it's got a view of Central Park. I'm not going in a place. I appreciate her saying that. And I feel like every message that I hear is that. And because of when I was born, I came off the burning bras and the revolution. You say you want a revolution. Told y'all we was in a revolution. I've been saying it. And here we are. It's a revolution. What side of the revolution are you standing on? Are you somewhere licking boots trying to get Massa to let you have the corner office? Or you're over here building your own box, creating your own systems, creating your own stage? What's the balance? How does that work out? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there's more that don't want to be in that stinky box with the sticks and twigs. You said put us wherever and we're gonna bloom. It's true. It's like a concrete. It's like a rose through concrete, and we've all seen it. Not necessarily a rose, but we've all seen it, and finding the beauty in something that people were discarding and making it better. What do they want to do? Stomp on it. You know what I'm saying? You see, and I won't put it in men and women terms because maybe that's too complicated for them to understand. Women, go over here, growling and sniffing and farting and stuff. No, you've seen many times where women find a situation and make it better. A rose growing through concrete is kind of like almost the definition of what we stand for. When a woman sees something, and I'm, generalizing. So, I'm not talking about all of the women that are anti-feminine. When a feminine sees something, nurturer, they want to nurture it. When a masculine sees something, rose growing out of concrete, they want to stomp on it. Doesn't belong here. You know what I'm saying? So, if the life is being stomped out of things, it's not on us. I was talking the other day to a client, not my client, but a client of the salon. And it was just one of those situations where I'm like, see how y'all just see, just and by nature, y'all just think differently. It's just, and this is somebody who I would consider, a liberal. When you talk about labeling people, I feel like she definitely is that liberal. She thinks that just because she hates Trump, that makes her an ally, and it doesn't, because your thought process is still tainted because it's innate, it's within you. So we're at the shampoo bowl, and we were talking about grandchildren. Her kids are, grown. She's a boy mom. Her sons are grown. They're both getting married. Da 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 da. We start talking about grandchildren, and I said my oldest and my youngest don't want none. They don't want any children. They're fine being auntie and uncle. And her response was, "Well, these kids, they better start having children, or we won't have any Social Security." And I was like, that's what you think? You want grandchildren to protect your social security? Maybe, you should work on making it a better world to be in, and then maybe these kids will want to procreate. Maybe there's that. Maybe a lot of these children, this generation don't want to have kids because the world they live in sucks. They have been through a lot. Like they came here, 9/11 happened, and it has gotten continually worse since then for this generation. I feel like that's where they started with all of this bullshit. Things just start turning back around. When y'all invited Trump into the White House, we just start going backwards. So he said that's what he was going to do, make America great again. This is the type of stuff he like right here. Pennsylvania bans whites only housing by one vote. The votes came in 101 to 100. To me, that's damn near losing as far as I'm concerned. One vote. Pennsylvania lawmakers advanced a bill aimed at stopping whites-only housing communities from forming in the state, with the House vote passing by the narrowest possible margin, 101 to 100. The measure, oh wow, that says so much. That's fucking crazy. The measure, and now you can have a whites-only housing. Well, you can't because that one person made the difference. But the way they're gerrymandering and remapping things, this is what we're looking forward to. This is what it's about to happen. You can have a whites-only housing, whites-only cities, whites-only neighborhoods, but you can't have a meeting with the women down to figure out how to build community within a corporation. The measure House Bill 2103 was introduced by Democratic Representative Ben Waxman and is described as a response to extremist groups trying to use legal loopholes to create segregated members-only communities. I mean, segregate them, because if all of them crackers want to live together in a place where, they don't want to commune with other people, let them have it. Just make sure that these types of things are available to everyone. If we want to segregate, then, let's do it. But let's make it fair, because we know that's what they don't do. They don't give us the opportunities to buy property and things, but they'll have a whole community of only white people. Stay your ass over there. I'm pro this, for goodness sakes. If you're that type of individual where you only need to see whiteness, I think you belong in a community where you only see whiteness. The push comes after reports about return to the land, a whites-only community in Arkansas. Of course, I did hear about this. I'm guessing it's the same thing. In Arkansas, whose organizers have reportedly expressed interest in expanding into other states, including Pennsylvania. From Arkansas to Pennsylvania, that's widespread. Supporters say the bill would strengthen the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act by preventing the organization from discriminating under the cover of being a private club or a membership-based group. The bill also became more politically charged after it was amended to include Fairness Act protections, which would add sexual orientation and gender identity to Pennsylvania's anti-discrimination law. Republican opponents raised concerns about issues such as women's sports, bathrooms, and religious liberty. Y'all stay worried about some damn bathrooms. Ugh. Helping turn what had previously advanced with broader support into a one-vote floor fight. The bill is not yet law. After passing the Pennsylvania House, it still must be considered by the Republican-controlled state. First comment, let them. I promise we don't care. That's what I said. What's amazing, when we do this, they'll burn it down. Whole time, white people aren't aware racism still exists. I'm with that first guy. If y'all want to live under somewhere where it's whites only, then by all means, please do it. And then we don't have to deal with y'all. We don't have to deal with y'all's cameras, and they do it to each other too, though. Like, I think that's not just it. They just need to be in control of something. I see plenty of videos on a regular basis of some woman knocking on some other person's door, telling them, their kids is too loud, or, why do you have this flag here? And they do it to each other. So yeah, by all means, put them somewhere. And we can put the ignorant folks all somewhere too. And let's everybody, for all of the people that want to live a normal life and allow people to, be who they want to be and mind their own damn business. That's the community I want to be in. Y'all over here, trying to, the wild thing is these things are happening, like I said, in real time. 101, one person. So in a room of 200 people, or however many people, 201, the majority of the people think this is a great idea. Did they put back the slavery photos in Philly? I don't know. That's your neck of the woods. I don't know if they did or if they didn't, but they're darn sure over here trying to have a whites only community. I mean, as far as I can see, that's where everything got messed up. But unfortunately, that was the plan anyway. They don't want our communities to thrive. That's a problem. Let's talk about this guy here. Kevin Roberts, president of the Heritage Foundation, got a PhD in African American history and then used it to author Project 2025, dismantle civil rights. Because this is what we do. This is what we do. They go over here and study us, and we just sit here and, don't even know our own history. And that's scary. The Heritage Foundation was founded in 1973. Guess what was happening in the late 60s, early 70s? When are all y'all gonna learn this country was built on slavery and genocide and will continue to be powered by those thugs until its demise? That's somebody's tweet, I guess. Kevin Roberts, president of the Heritage Foundation, got a PhD in African American history and then used it to author Project 2025 to dismantle civil rights. That's what makes them, ahead of the game. Honestly, I feel like that's what makes them ahead of the game. They go sit in the classroom. This is a prime example why the cookout got to be closed. Because they come over here, they listen to, what our issues are, what our concerns are, what our mission is, what our plan is, which is just to live a normal life. You know what I'm saying? In this, dream of America that they were trying to create, this melting pot that they seem to hate so much. Y'all created the melting pot, but you hate it. You don't want the pot to be melted. You just want, bubbly boiling water. That's it. No flavor, no nothing. No potatoes, no carrots, no nothing. Just a hot pot of water. Y'all can look at, bubbling on each other until, somebody explodes. And then when y'all don't have nobody black or of color to be mad at, I guess, you'll eat each other because that's what you do. Not all y'all, just these guys. This was sad to me. So this is down in, where they at? Thank God grandmother went to the police station and filed a report. It says a middle school student stopped at a gas station after school needing to use the restroom, but was told it was out of service and to go outside. The clerk then printed images from the footage and placed them on the door. On the door. So everybody that walks in there can see this kid peeing outside. And then they're going to say, look at him. He's a savage. He's outside peeing. It has also been reported that the clerk showed the video to students who then recorded it and began circulating at school. So this kid is, has to go pee, but somebody decided, an adult. And I'm guessing it was Jimmy Bob with, 3 teeth and a, half a jaw full of snuff. He looked like the preacher. I don't know what his role is, but they pulling up. This is what you gotta do. Pull up at this gas station. Here's this app. I wish they had more people.
Where Grandma at? Come on, Grandma.
Hey, where's the owner? Sir? Where's the owner? I don't want no damn card. Where's the owner? Sir? Yeah, I don't want no business card. I want the owner. How you doing, brother? You shouldn't spend one goddamn dollar in this store.
Y'all shouldn't spend
Y'all
nothing.
shouldn't spend not a goddamn dollar in this store. What this store did,
activities going on.
exploiting a young black child, embarrassing a young black child, and told a black child that they could not use the restroom to go and do in the back. And then these no good bastards recorded that child and then took the video and showed it to all of the kids leaving the school, our babies leaving school, and they showing them a video when their classmates poo-pooing, embarrassing this young brother and treating him like he's less than a human. I want the owner.
Nuh-uh.
What is this?
Go get your money back.
I don't need no lawyer's
No,
phone
get
number.
your money back.
I don't want no.
Get your refund. Get your money back.
Where's the owner? Where is the owner? What are we talking about?
Get your
You the
money
owner?
back.
Are you the owner? Where's the owner? Because we ain't gonna make no more goddamn money today. Where's the owner?
And give him his refund too.
Where's the owner?
Kind of Epstein stuff y'all got going on.
Do you
around
realize
here.
that video is pornographic? That video is sexual in nature? That is a crime? He committed a crime. I want the owner. We ain't making no more money today.
None. We're gonna shut this whole thing down. And give him his money back.
Don't none of y'all spend no money
Don't
here.
spend no money in here.
Don't spend another damn dime in this store.
Refund his tab for this Arizona. Go get your refund, brother.
Yeah, get your refund.
You ain't paying. Give his money back.
I'll buy you one somewhere else. Get your refund.
Refund.
I'll buy you one somewhere else. The hell with that drink.
You ain't buying nothing from this old Epstein Island
Brother, you work
station
here?
they got going on.
Okay, you don't work here. All right, appreciate you, my brother. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Did you
Ain't
call me?
nobody buying nothing.
And listen, that lawyer, he can bring his rusty, ragged ass up here too.
We don't
care about that.
Because he can catch
We
this
want to
low
talk to the owner because he can't stop a damn thing what we doing today.
Nothing.
Where is he at? Y'all did that to a child.
Yes.
Y'all did this to a child. Y'all
Yeah.
did that to a child. Y'all did that to a child.
Ain't no money being made.
Where's the owner at, man?
Where you at?
She looked like the sheriff.
Where you at?
You better call him again. Tell him he ain't making no money. Call him
We
again.
shutting this whole thing down.
That's wrong what he did to that baby.
That's some
That's
freaky
wrong as
stuff,
hell,
man.
man.
That's some Epstein freaking foolishness they got going on around here. Don't nobody spend no money in here.
How you doing, my brother? How you feel, man? Good, man. Man, did you hear what these devils did? And they wouldn't let that baby use the restroom, man.
They need to go gather the rest of the community and come fight with them.
Who is the boss man?
He'll be here.
Who is the boss
He'll
man?
be here. He normally be over here on cutting though.
Is that right? They need to get him.
Yeah.
Don't come in here buying that, sister. Go
Yeah,
to
don't
the
buy
store down
nothing
the
in
street.
this
We
stuff.
shut this whole
Don't
place
buy
down.
nothing in this stuff.
They shut the shit down. This is what I'm talking about. Everybody grab your chair. Everybody in this community need to get together, grab their chair, come down to this gas station. I definitely hope we get a follow-up on this story.
Don't buy nothing.
I can't believe. Is he on the way? Yeah, we will. How far away is he, sir? How far away is he?
How far? What time he coming? He on the way. So how long we looking at? About 10 minutes. Okay.
He don't want to come over there.
Well, they ain't gonna make no money till you get here. Don't buy nothing here, baby. Go to the store down there.
Yeah, don't
We
buy
shut this
nothing here,
whole thing
sister.
down.
Don't buy nothing here. Don't buy nothing here.
Go to another store.
School, all of you actually use the restroom. These no good, dirty, racist bastards told him no. And told him to go behind the building and take a poop. And then these dirty damn devils
Recorded it.
And then when all the kids was coming from school, that man behind the counter was showing all the kids the boy defecating in his nakedness, making mockery of him. Now the boy, when he went to school, they made mockery of this kid. They bullied this kid because these no good, dirty bastards who are not from our community, who don't give a damn about black people, dehumanized a child like that. He thought it was funny. The man thought it was funny. Don't you spend a dime in this store. We should not give our money to people who have such little respect for us as a people.
That's right.
Go somewhere else until this man is fired. The one that did this, don't spend a penny in this store. How could we? We appreciate your support, but don't give him $1. Because when you give him your $1 and that man is still working here, what you're saying to these people is, it's okay with us.
Brother Jay,
So how you feel?
come on, man. Good to see you, bro.
I know that was you.
I know, hey, I'm on the
I know that was you.
I seen Sister cut down the way. I was like, look,
Yeah.
babe, I know this stand anyway.
Go to another store. Go to another store. We shutting this whole place down.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you got the money. All right, come on.
Good to see
Yeah.
you.
At the very least, these people are saying how they should stand up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, they standing up. There's not even that many of them. It's him, his girl, that lady, the sheriff. I don't know. It looks like about 4 people. This is not an army of people, but they came in and shut the shit down, and I'm here for it.
We're not spending a dime in here. That is horrible.
We're going to do something.
Well, they ain't gonna make no money this one today.
Brother, don't.
Hey, what about you doing? Good to see you. Good, yes, sir.
That's what so.
We everywhere. We everywhere.
I was standing out there. He was like, I stopped him. I was just saying. I was about to charge him up. I'm like, no. I'm not calling you. Sorry, you recognize me.
I'm gonna stop it right there. I hope they stand on this. I think, like I said, there should be more of this because this is their community. Like you said, these store owners they're not even from the community. Imagine if, and I'm seeing a lot of communities come together to, start their own grocery stores. And imagine if you do that instead of running in this convenience store. Gas already high as hell. So, why not? Remember some months ago, we talked about the mother and daughter who bought gas stations while the big C took over everything. I love this. Hold on, that's just the beginning. I love this. I see. Wait a minute. Hold on.
10 minutes. Say 10 minutes.
He told me that 10 minutes ago. Well, they ain't, but long as they keep, long as they ain't gonna make no money.
He ain't interested.
Well, bring his lawyer
over
too,
there,
because he can catch smoke too. That video.
Brand new bathrooms in there. Told him to go behind the building, take a poop. Then took a video and recorded that child And then when the kids got out of school, the man was behind the counter showing the video to the other students and saying, look at his butt, look at his wee-wee, look at his behind, making fun of the child's organs. Don't you spend one goddamn penny in this no good devil store. You don't do our babies like that. And if we give that man a penny, what we're saying to him, it's okay to do our kids like that. We got to send these people a message today. So the owner allegedly is on the way. Don't let him make a penny till he get here. We are demanding the immediate termination of that employee. He can't work in our neighborhood no more.
Oh, don't spend no money.
Would Dad do this to somebody else's community?
Oh no. And the child was black?
Yes.
Black child.
They're getting a bigger crowd. Everybody that comes over there, he ain't playing. He said until that owner come over there, he better get his ass over there. Because ain't nobody going in that door.
And then they posted his picture on the right here on the doors, like a criminal,
Then they took his picture and put his picture on the door.
of him using the restroom.
Didn't put a child's picture on the door when the bathrooms are brand new. At what point is risen people going to say enough is enough?
They might have a case, like y'all are saying. This is child porn.
He ain't made one penny.
He might be, prosecuted.
For the last hour,
He should
they
be.
sold no gas. Do you see your power? You have power. You can make them respect you, but we got to do it together. If we do it together, they can't do this kind of stuff and get away with it. I guarantee you, when they go to the bank in the morning, when they make the deposits tonight, they're going to wonder why the money's so low, why the number's so low. Because for 1 hour, we shut it completely down. Not a single drop of gas, not a cigarette, not a soda, not a beer can was sold in this store for that whole 1 hour. Can you hang with us just 15 more minutes? That 1 hour, just 15 more minutes. And we sent a hell of a message today. We're not tolerating this bullshit, Nick.
I mean, for a convenience store, an hour without gas or anything, that's a lot of money.
The hell with your lawyer. He can come on your behalf, and we'll chew his ass to pieces when he get here.
I'm here for it. Somebody said this is what community looks like. It's true. That's what community looks like. In a gas station, convenience store, in an urban neighborhood where majority of people around, it's mostly Black people around there. So if you're not gonna respect the community, you don't need to be there. I think they should have stayed more than an hour because we was here for 10 minutes. He ain't show up. He still ain't show up. He probably on the phone somewhere trying to figure out, what to do, because that's, first of all, like y'all said, that's child porn. You cannot be posting pictures. They said they put the baby's picture on the door. Why? What the hell is wrong with him? I feel like there's more than, firing him ain't enough. We're going to need some compensation. Like they said, the boy got to go to school and deal with that foolishness. And maybe this is a lesson to all of those students too. So at that school, somebody needs to speak to them about the humiliation that took place, so they will learn not to laugh at that. So they will understand that, young man is a victim. Whew. Child. I want that lady, I need to follow her on my social media. She's like, give him his money back. Give him back. He's not paying for that. Whew, this will hurt me, y'all. This is an attack on my career path.
Folks, on the last day of Women's Black History Month, the Federal Department of Education has issued an order that will devastate the cosmetology and massage therapy industries that provide a majority of the small businesses in our community. And the Federal Department of Education is requiring that within 2 years of graduation from cosmetology school, that the students earn above.
Oh, my bad.
Folks, on the last day of Women's Black History Month, the Federal Department of Education has issued an order that will devastate the cosmetology and massage therapy industries that provide a majority of the small businesses in our community. And the Federal Department of Education is requiring that within 2 years of graduation from cosmetology school, that the students earn above average wages. Otherwise, the school itself will be shut down. Even the Department of Education suggests that 92% of the schools will close based on this new order. You have to contact your congresspeople and your United States senators and ask them to have this federal government remove that requirement from the Department of Education to avoid closure of the schools that our community, the folks on doing so much. You must vote. That's why it was so important that the Voting Rights Act yesterday by the Supreme Court's decision has been damaged. But we have to continue to fight, have to continue to make sure we elect individuals who are going to represent our interests best.
I mean, this is a big one for me. And it's, the government, the administration is attacking, careers that are mostly women. With attacking the beauty industry, you could take out the women and the gays all at once, because there's very few straight men working in the industry. I'll just say that. And the ones that are there, people are always going to look at them like they're, which like it matters. It doesn't, but it's just a fact. It's, our industry is in that, this is for women classification. Judge Mathis is sounding the alarm on major policy shift that could upend the beauty school industry. In recent Instagram video, he broke down new federal rules and urged followers to contact their congresspeople and United States senators and ask them to have the federal government remove the requirement from the Department of Education. Woo, the Department of Education ain't shit. The concern stems from One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Where did we hear that from? Signed in 2025, because we know they had a project, which introduced the AHEAD framework. This policy enforced a do no harm metric requirement for vocational schools like cosmetology programs to prove graduates earn more than average high school graduates within 3 to 4 years. They're not putting those parameters on anybody else. If schools fail this earnings test twice in 3 years, they lose access to federal aid, including student loans and Pell Grants programs relying heavily on Pell funding face even harsher penalties. That's how I pay for my education. I qualified as a single mother for a Pell Grant. I was able to still complete cosmetology school. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because majority of the students, and I mean, it was a significantly lower amount. Cosmetology school is $22,000 to $30,000, to complete cosmetology school, depending on where you go. And I'm saying 30 because, you have to invest in yourself with classes and equipment and that kind of thing. But majority of the students are there because of a student loan. You know what I'm saying? You don't walk into most schools and have to come up with the cash. So, and many in the industry are very successful. This is a business where you can become very successful. On one end, I feel like if these schools are not meeting a requirement, I feel like 92% and above average is not fair. If they're not at least meeting what the minimum is, then, that's one thing. But for them to require it across the board, you know what I'm saying? So that affects all the schools. And, for me, that's my retirement plan. I had every bit of intention on having my own educational facility as I leave, the industry from behind the chair. Seems we need to go natural and learn to manage our own hair. Sorry, Rhonda. I mean, you can do that, but I feel like the beauty industry is bigger than just hair, and not everybody has that skill. So, yeah. I mean, I have majority, I won't say majority, but half of my clients are still using natural hair. Um, yeah. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully y'all will not, take us out and think that there's no value in us as hairstylists, that you would not want to come, because the experience is more than just combing your hair. The salon experience is definitely community. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. I'm glad that he's on the right side of this issue. It's definitely nice to hear somebody speaking on our behalf. Now, how's your wife? Hopefully she's somewhere happy in a hair salon, enjoying being luxuriating. Yeah, this definitely hits home for me, and I feel like there's a lot of push to send people directly to university. They go to university and don't want to do what they went there to do. So what are the percentage rates there? This is definitely, like I said, an attack on women, and you can kick out the gays, while you're there, because a good amount of them are in the beauty industry. We're going to flip it a little bit. Your boy Nick, on to misogyny. He has a double standard. He said his son Moroccan can date and his twin Monroe isn't allowed. Absolutely not. I love how Nick is pretending like he has any say-so over this. Let me speak to Mariah. What does she say? Because we know she's the boss over there in that household. You over here with, all these different kids, 12 kids with 8 different women, and you want to talk about how somebody can date? Man, get out of here with that. During his appearance on a TMZ podcast, all Nick does is walk around to podcasts and be interviewed to say stupid shit. He opened up about how he parents his 15-year-old twins with Mariah Carey, and admitted that he has a double standard when it comes to dating. I want to punch him in the teeth. Cannon said he allows and even encourages his son Moroccan to date, but feels differently about his daughter Monroe. Well, that's because you hope she doesn't run into trash like you, I would assume. And I mean, and it's unrealistic and ignorant to believe that his belief system doesn't affect both of them. Stupid ass. First of all, it's absolutely a double standard, he said, adding that. So because he admits it, that makes it okay. He's more protective of his daughter because of potential risk. I mean, risk from a man like you, I would imagine. The risks are there. He explained that Monroe can go on dates, but only under certain conditions, including explaining her plans ahead of time and sometimes bringing her brother along. Ugh. She might need to go along with him and make sure he ain't out here doing ignorant nonsense. This right here, and Mariah never says anything. We're not going to require Mariah to start coming out and speaking against the ignorance that comes out of his mouth, because she'd be somewhere every day trying to manage that. But Nick, while he making his rounds, we don't know. Child, you don't know what Monroe is over here doing, because we ain't telling you. Mariah ain't telling you, and neither is her brother, because they are all one family. And you travel around, with the traveling pants and, put your penis in everybody you run across. So everywhere you go, you leaving children. By the time you make your rounds back around to these kids, child, they'll be grown. So, I can't stand him. It's sad what the administration is doing to service workers. I value the quality work from hairdressers and barbers. I appreciate that, because what I do is art. It's a skill that everybody doesn't have. I'm very proud of my accomplishments. I feel like I bring value to the people that I run across. I have been to part of people's lives that have been through marriages, divorces, children, grandchildren. The loss of parents is something more than just getting your hair done. It's a community. It's an important part of the community. It's definitely a business where we can empower each other as women. And we have fought, I believe, I know I have in the last 30 some years that I have been doing hair, fought for people to take us seriously. You got people over here doing hair in their kitchen, and I saw somebody doing eyelashes down to the front seat of the car. I, as a hairstylist, have always tried to have a certain standard for myself as a professional so people will take me seriously. And I know my worth, and it takes a long time to get to that, you know, where as a hairstylist, you know your worth. And people are always trying to, you know, talk you down and your price, talk down. I wish all I had to do was do hair all day. That's the type of stuff we hear. Like what I'm doing is not a skill that I have studied, not just in cosmetology school, you know, to get a license, but over my career, I have studied and learned. I have learned science. I have learned psychology on how to deal with people, and I'm damn good at what I do. So, you know, I think it's definitely an insult to act like we come out of school and we're not worthy to be a part of, you know, a professional industry, because, you know, we definitely are. And I appreciate, you know, I appreciate the respect. I appreciate that, you know, Judge Mathis is, like you said, speaking on the right side, you know, speaking on the behalf of. Will Nick tell his son to impregnate many women? Probably, because that's what the manosphere is, you know, out here. That's what we're for. We were put here, you know, broke from the rib over here just to procreate, you know, and serve the man. So, yeah, I feel like that is the message he will send his son. I have a friend whose husband is racist, and although she doesn't like to use that word, it's absolutely what it is. And she has children and she's not that at all. But I don't talk about it. I don't speak about it with her because, you know, that's your choice. That's your husband. And, you know, what good is it going to do for me to say my opinion? It really don't matter. Not in that aspect. But I do think, like, how do you raise your kid with a racist husband and think that that's not going to be in his mindset? Your boy child is definitely, you know, because they tend to gravitate towards each other. He's definitely going to pick up on those same things, the same ideals and same values as your husband, and your daughter might too. So same thing with Nick. Like, you over here preaching that nonsense. Is he going to care? Yeah, he encourages son to go date. So be like dad. You want to be like me. He's not going to say don't do it. He's going to explain why what he's doing is, you know, a good thing, you know, in terms of, you know, men versus women in this world that we live in. So let's get on to this conversation. Stephen A. Smith goes viral because he can't be with a woman who doesn't prioritize cooking. So I went over and listened to this interview with Cam Newton and Stephen A. Smith. And oh my God, Stephen A. Smith is somebody who I really can't stand. But and Cam Newton too. Cam Newton is also somebody who irks my nerves. You said Mariah says spread your wings and prepare to fly. I mean, hopefully I don't blame Mariah, because when she married Nick, there wasn't a harem. She can't be held responsible for what happened afterwards. Stephen A. Smith was over here with Cameron, and I don't think this was an interview necessarily. This was an opportunity for Stephen A. Smith to come over here and honor himself. Cam was on mute. As much as Cam usually likes to be running his mouth with stupid questions, he really didn't have any questions for Stephen A. Smith, who's over here, you know, working for ESPN, running ESPN, according to Stephen A. And Cam works for ESPN. And he made it a point to let this man know that if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be there. Or not if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be there. But he did say if he had vetoed it, then you wouldn't be there. So Cam is over here scared to like ask any questions. And he just basically let Stephen A. run his mouth about his accolades and how he's, you know, earned his spot. I will say Stephen A is definitely, as far as sports media is concerned, they say he's the face of sports media. And I guess, child, I don't listen to Stephen A. I don't listen to his show. I've never liked him. And I do like listen to different sports, but I listen to Ryan Clark over there on the Pivot. There's been other shows, that I listen to according to, just different sports commentators during football season. Mostly Stephen A. Smith is not somewhere I go. Now I will say this, Cam Newton over here on his Freaky Friday, I check out his interviews based on who his guests are. He's not good at asking questions. He's usually talking about himself most of the time. Most of the time when somebody comes and sits with Cam, he wants to get them to co-sign the fact that, he's over here making babies in multiple households. What's her name? Dr. Cheyenne. I'm going to talk about her tomorrow. Dr. Cheyenne came over here and told him he was a low value man. He ain't never been able to get over it since then. So he comes over here, trying to act like he's smarter than everybody, but not this time. He was not even about to try to challenge Stephen A. Smith. So, yeah, ESPN is his house. So he won't be over there doing any of that. I did not know that Stephen A. Smith because like I said, I don't keep up, but Stephen A. and LeBron got into it. They had a little tiff because apparently Stephen A. criticized his son, Bronny, when he came into the league. So here, this is what I'll do. I'll let y'all listen to what he had to say about Bron. Unfortunately, he's the face of sports media and probably the highest paid. He is the highest paid. We're going to get into that too. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. The interview was exhausting listening to this nigga, talk about how fabulous he is and, how his opinion is validated because of his credentials, and the rest of y'all just got opinions and that's it. So him and Bron have beef. But, I think Bron is a big crybaby anyway, and I don't actually disagree with him on this particular subject. Let me see, make sure I got the right one. I don't think that's the right one. Where we at? Let's see. Sorry, y'all, but there's a couple of clips over here, and I have to make sure I'm playing the right one first. Let's start here. He talks so dang much.
Pat McAfee, just to disrespect me, that forever changed. All the people that you see here with me tonight, along with countless other people, they all tried to talk me out of it, every one of them. Fuck that. It don't matter. I didn't give a damn what anybody said, and I still don't. And I meant what I said. Every word you see, when I came at it was like, yo,
Was it not personal?
Oh, it was. That was personal.
Okay.
Because it was like, no, you didn't do that shit. You gonna go on national television just to disrespect me over something that I don't believe I did. To roll up on me courtside at a game and to roll up on me like that, that was bad enough.
Honestly, I have to find that. So Bron was upset with Stephen A. and rolled up on him courtside to confront him. That's comedy.
But then to go on the show that comes on after me, to fly into Indy, to drive damn near an hour to the studio, to sit in there for a couple of hours just to talk shit about me. Nah, bro. No, that was not going to stand. And be very, very clear. Mm-hmm. Nobody at ESPN liked it. They didn't want that. My exact words were, move out the way. I don't want to hear it. I'm not listening to anybody. This is mine. Right here. His ass is mine. I'm not having that because It was unnecessary. It was unfair. And I have facts to back it up. I'm fine now because time heals all wounds. 58 years old. Life is kind of good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he's too important to the game for me to allow
Could y'all hear that? What he was saying? I don't think so. I wasn't sharing it. Dang it. You said, I think Skip Bayless is the highest paid sportscaster. There'll never be another Stuart Scott. Skip Bayless is up there, but you know, he loved him some Skip Bayless. Clash of two egos. That's what it was. That's what it was. But let me share it because I done screwed up over here. And he was just talking, and let me see. No, let's see. Okay, let me start it from here. It's definitely unrealistic of LeBron to think that his son is going to go into the league and that these guys are not going to discuss his ability. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they do. You knew the skill set of your son. I'm talking about LeBron. LeBron knew the skill set of his son, and he, you know, moved all these boulders and opened all these doors because, you know, he wouldn't have been there otherwise. And then you open the doors. And once you open the doors, then he's open to the same criticism that anybody else gets. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Normally, like, it doesn't, it just stopped once I paused the video. Sorry for the technical difficulties, y'all. Okay, here we go.
Bronny was in high school. I never covered him. Bronny goes to USC. I say nothing. He develops the heart ailment. I'm on national TV. God bless him and his family. I hope he's okay. Nothing else matters. Bronny declares for the draft. Congratulations, go for it. Shit, why should he go to the G League or whatever? Oh, Stephen A., but you know, that's his son. I mean, he ain't earning his way. Bump that. Well, what LeBron has done for the league, I don't care. We all support it. Let him get drafted by the Lakers. He comes into the NBA. We say nothing. Okay? Opening night. The Griffeys, junior and senior, baseball. They're in attendance because it's a father-son thing. Stephen A. Smith is sitting behind courtside on the baseline at the Lakers game, standing up applauding. It's a great, great moment. My thinking was, now you're going to be in the G League, working on your skills to get yourself ready. That's not what happened. Cool. I never opened my mouth until he was in the G League one night. And then the next night, he in the game in the first quarter, guarding Tyrese Maxey. And I said, well, wait a minute. Now we got a problem. Because he ain't ready for that. And you as his dad, being on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, who is a basketball savant, one of the most brilliant minds we've ever seen in the game of basketball, knows this better than us. So when you put him in that position, now you're doing two things. Number one.
But do you not know, can you agree that it's still a sensitive topic?
Yes. But what I'm saying is, here's the sensitive part that he's missing. You're on a public platform and essentially you're asking us not to do our job.
Okay.
Because we got to cover him now.
I agree. And that's why I'm in that part of the story. I agree. He is on this platform now and he has to be covered. And LeBron, you want to sit over there and act like, because this is your son and he's not supposed to say anything, relationships are supposed to come first. That's why for me, y'all have all these accolades. He's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. I guess, that's all I know him to do is whine and cry. I don't know his statistics. LeBron James, the Mount Rushmore, I guess. Stephen A. Smith is saying it, and I know he's done all the homework. But for him to think that he could come over there, introduce his son to the league, and that the sports commentators were not going to be truthful is not realistic. And for him to think that his relationship with Stephen A. Smith, that's not fair. And I can't stand Stephen A., but I think that's not fair. I did think about this, though, because we're talking about LeBron bringing his son in, and it made me think of Shedeur. Bronny, as a basketball player, everybody was saying it. He's not ready. He's not up to, the standard. He is brought on here into this league based on the love and respect of his father. And Shedeur had to do the exact opposite. Shedeur came over here. He showed, he proved, he's, an amazing quarterback entering into the league. He's, up against all of these seasoned quarterbacks, and they want him out because of his father. It's the opposite, effect. And unless Bronny is going to come over here and show and prove in the same way, people are going to have the same thing to say across the board. Like I said, I can't stand Stephen ignorant ass, but for LeBron to approach him on the floor, you want to argue with him, and then go on CNN, ESPN, then go on ESPN. Stephen A. said that's his house over there at ESPN. So you could do what you want, but he, pretty much was like, I could put you on or I could take you off. He moving like the mob over there, the ESPN mob. So that's why Cam is over here like kissing his ass, I'm gonna guess. He talked about politics. So let's hear what he has to say, about his position in politics, Stephen A. Because, at some point he was putting it out there that he wanted to run for president. Isn't that what he said? This ain't the right one. Let's see. I'm sure there's a better way to label this, but y'all dealing with me, and I feel like y'all are used to me at this point. I'm technically challenged. Okay, here's his take on politics.
Went from there to Fox Sports. Best damn sports show wanted me. I didn't want to do that, so they hired John Sally. I did the National Sports Desk, best damn sports show. Me and my man Kevin Frazier from Entertainment Tonight. He was the host. Went from there to ESPN. Everybody acted like First Take came along, and that's how I made my bones. Do your homework. I've been doing this shit, and I ain't changed. Go back and look at my columns. They want to tease. I was on the basketball team and wrote that the coach needed to retire. On the team. On the team. Now, mind you, it was because he had health issues.
Okay.
He had health issues. He knew it. They didn't know. And they didn't know that I talked to him before I wrote the article. But I wrote the article out of love because I wanted him to retire because I thought he was going to die on the bench. That's what was going on. And so what happened is I said, man, you got to retire. He said, man, shut the fuck up. You understand what I'm saying? I said, I'm going to write it. He said, go ahead, fuck you, man. Go ahead and write it. And I wrote it for the school newspaper on my coach that I was playing for. That gave me a scholarship. And everybody acted like this is new. I've been me. I've been me. Y'all changed. I've been me. And I'm going to stay me. It ain't changing, bro. When I see people, and that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about betrayal. You in my life, I got love for you, we tight. And you gonna say shit like I betrayed the black community? They talking about me with this politics shit. I can show you a speech that I gave in 2007, right before Obama took office. In 2010 at Vanderbilt University, I said, listen to this quote, politics. I wish for one election that every black person would vote Republican. What? How can you say that? I said, it's simple. Since 1964, the black folks, we have been giving our vote to the Democratic Party at an exorbitant rate. Therefore, they know they got our vote, and they don't have to cater to us as much as we need them to. The Republicans know they'll never get our vote, so they don't give a damn about us. And as a result, we're the only community in America devoid of representation, which is why we're considered disenfranchised. I'm tired of that. What I want is to put ourselves as a community in a position where both parties have to work to get our vote.
Can I ask you this? Do you think you covering politics like you cover politics, in the words of your mans, is that good for business, your business?
It has the potential not to be. We'll have to see. So far it is. I think I'm doing pretty good. So far it is, but it has the potential not to be. But here's the point. Cam, if I thought like that, I'd never be here. There's plenty of decisions over the years I could have made that would have been good for business.
Yeah, again, y'all could check out this interview if you want to hear more on that. Good morning, High Vibe. He said his paper is about his paper, and that's why he's not running. He said he's making far too much money over here, doing what he's doing, and that's why it wouldn't work. I think you said Stephen about to get his nigga wake up call soon. I mean, based on what based on what we've seen and that's happening in the last since this administration, yeah, he won't speak on it in that way because he's a misogynist and he can't help it. This job not fair. They make me work. Girl, isn't that how it is sometimes? He said something though that just I was like, for you to be a statistics person, you sure don't make sense. He said that everybody black should vote Republican just to show the Democrats that they need to work harder. And I disagree with that. I think, there's two parts to that. I think the Democrats definitely take advantage of the fact that they know that we're going to vote for them or not vote at all. And I think that's what happens a lot. People have fallen into this, and my vote doesn't matter. And they're, two sides of the same coin. And I definitely am a two sides of the same coin type of person. However, if he said everybody vote independent, that would be different. You said everybody vote Republican, and that's just stupid. Then, we would be in worse situation than we are now. If that type of move is going to happen, it should never be to vote Republican. To change the way the government works, the system works, You cannot like still be voting two party. If everybody decided to vote independent, not during a Republican administration, though, that would have to definitely be done in the midterms of a Democratic administration, because you don't want to lose everything. You know what I'm saying? But let's just say everybody voted dependent. You said everybody black. That ain't enough numbers. That is not enough numbers. We do not make up the majority of the population. So that wouldn't work. I mean, statistically, you would need more than just black people to vote independent. I think it's stupid to vote against your own interests, but hey, he's rich, so maybe he is voting in, he's voting towards his interests. If he has said independent, that doesn't benefit him at all. However, it's going to take the Latina community, who mostly are trying to, at this point, most of them are trying to identify as white. And they even have the option. They even have the option when you're filling out paperwork. We have Black, African American. They have Hispanic, Black Hispanic, white Hispanic. They have given them options, to choose what color they want to be based on voting. So they would have to then stop aligning themselves with, white people in order to vote independent. So, my point is that just doesn't make sense statistically for him to be the statistics guy. The only way to change it is to change it not during a Republican administration, obviously. And I do think the Democrats need a wake-up call. So we should vote for the party that has stacked the Supreme Court. Exactly. That's rolling back our rights. This man cannot be serious. Agreed, voting independent makes the only logical sense. I mean, I'm not a genius. I'm not as accomplished, according to him, because he spent the first hour of this, interview talking about his accomplishments. But I do know that sounds stupid. Everybody vote Republican. We might as well just throw our hands up and say, chain us, massa. We ready to go back. You say he's promoting vote Republican under this administration. How much is he getting paid by Trump? He's definitely getting paid by corporation. He goes on to argue about, if you, like I said, you can check it out. He goes on to argue about how he was in his feelings because Matt Barnes, and I forget what his partner is over there on the smoke, but they called him out for being, for what he said about Jasmine Sullivan. He really is in competition. I feel like his ego with these athletes. He feels like he's just as big a part of the program as they are. There are other successful media outlets. He wants to, why don't you invite me over there? If you did feel this way, why don't you invite me over there? He feels like people are afraid of him. I don't think they're afraid of him. They don't want to get, because Matt Barnes, he's not unintelligent and he does know sports. And that's another thing. I feel like you can't possibly know, you can know statistics, but I feel like the point of view from an athlete definitely carries weight. He acts like, their opinion doesn't carry weight because I'm, this journalist, this sports media journalist, and I have all these accolades. So my opinion comes with validation. I feel like their opinion comes with validation also because they played the game. And he's all upset because they don't want to invite him over. They don't like you. That's why they don't invite you over. They don't want to have a discussion with you. Cam is not having a discussion with him. Cam is letting his boss man, who has threatened, I know people, like he's sitting up there talking like, it's the mob. I know people that can end your career. This is out of his own mouth. He said this. So, his agenda, his success is being backed by corporation. You can't compare yourself like Skip Bayless. Maybe he can compare himself to because they're backed by the same machine. You can't look at Matt Barnes and any of the smaller or Jamil. How you say her name? Jamil Hill. Jamal. It's not Jamal. They don't have corporate money behind them. ESPN, like you said it yourself, that's your house. That's his house. He running ESPN. So when Massa tell him what to do, he go do it. he out of his mouth for the most part said it. Yeah. I listened to this this whole thing. I wanted to scratch my eyes out. He also has an opinion about women, which is what brought me over here in the first place. But I figure if I'm going to listen to part of it, I might as well see what else he over here saying. So he has an opinion about women. Being in a relationship. I guess there's somebody out here who won't do it, y'all. I told y'all the other day, you guys stop fooling with these ugly niggas, but somebody gonna do it. So this here he is. Oh, I gotta share it. I feel like, you know what? He's never been married. Don't marry him. You know, if you one of these like Portia want to go out here and get some coin, just go on dates with him and, you know, see what it is he gonna give. Otherwise, leave it alone. Because unless you want to sign up for it. Anyway, here you go.
You're gonna thrive, or we gonna struggle together. That's how I roll, because I literally see, I can still visualize the tears in my mother's eyes and the hardship that she endured. And I'm just not built like that. The mistake a woman would make, to use the example that you used with the girl that you mentioned, appreciation can never turn into expectation. With me, your days are numbered. Appreciation must never turn into expectations.
Appreciation must never turn into expectation. Those are his words. And I agree with that 100%, except for it goes both ways, my guy. It goes both ways.
It's mine to give, not yours to take. The minute you think you entitled, you ain't getting shit. Because you think you entitled. I don't like that. I want you to appreciate. You don't have to give what I give in terms of that level. But what you do have to do is show an appreciation that I'm extending myself to give more than I had to.
Is it difficult to date as Stephen A?
I wouldn't know. I don't worry about it.
What do you look for in a woman?
Intelligence, conversation. Well, let me scratch that. That's 2 and 3 on the list. Sex appeal starts. It starts there. If I'm not interested, I'm not interested. Yeah, it's just that. It's just the truth. We're not gonna sit here and lie. If I'm not attracted to you, it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. Okay? I like what I like, and you need to possess those qualities. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. It's just that simple. Sex appeal. Figure it out. So that conversation, intellect, and domesticated. Because you see, I say that. I'm seriously. Somebody needs to say that. We need to stop this shit. This assault against masculinity. It's gonna end with this. I don't care. I can cook for myself. I don't.
Pause. He just said domesticated, like an animal, like a dog or a cat. Domesticated is the kind of woman he's looking for. So please understand, this nigga wants you to be domesticated. And he said there's an assault on masculinity. What?
I don't want to. I want you to cook. I'll pay for the food. I'll take you out. I'll take you out every week. Yeah. We're doing it. But damn it, listen, my sister Carmen, one of the greatest cooks ever. Rashawn could throw down, by the way. He can cook too, right? I'm not him. See, he don't mind. He'll tell the wife, I got you, baby. I got this. Let me cook the chicken. Hell no, that ain't Steven. No. Only thing I'm doing for myself is getting up for some cereal. That's it. I'm not cooking. I don't feel like it. If I have to do that, why do I need you?
But
that's me. I'm just being that. I understand it comes across as chauvinistic, but I just finished saying, I'll take you out. I'll buy the food. I'll take care of whatever you need me to take care of. But damn it, I walk through my crib and you there, I better not smell pine sol. There's a problem. If I'm smelling pine sol, why are you there? Why? My sister has her own family. If my sister knows I'm coming, the minute I walk through the door, I'm smelling food. She knows that. She's my sister. You the woman in my life and I'm smelling Pine Sol, that ain't gonna last. I assure you that. Go get the brother that don't mind. I hope he can offer you what I'm offering. Cause it ain't gonna last. I'm just telling you my flavor.
Yeah.
That's me. Ain't gonna change.
You can beat cancer
Oh, crap.
and still
And the nerve of them to play a commercial.
So, does she work?
Yeah.
Steven.
Oh, yes. Why?
Even Cam
Because
is
I don't want
appalled.
you home all day long thinking about what I'm doing.
But
I need you preoccupied. I need you preoccupied with life. Do you? Listen, man, I don't require much. It doesn't matter. If you in my life, especially now, if you in my life, you good. You good. But I'm going to get a hot meal now. I said a hot one. I ain't say no cold.
But
I said a hot one.
Fresh.
Minute I walked through the door, I didn't say it even got to be ready. I'm not being like that. I'm just saying I need to smell food.
These are your preferences.
My preferences. My preferences. And mind you, 4 older sisters. 4 older sisters. 3 of them could cook. The one that can't cook can clean her behind off. Got jobs, got careers. My sister's is a principal. My other sister was a teacher. My other sister's a doctor. And my other sister was a mediator for the American Arbitration Association. All my sisters are accomplished. 3 of them cooked. And the one that couldn't cook, cleaned, so the other 3 didn't have to, and they cooked for her. That's what we had growing up. My mother sat up there and said like this, you shut up. You don't even know how to take care of yourself, let alone take care of a woman. When you can take care of a woman, then you can talk. So guess what I did? I became successful.
So you can take care.
And when I got successful, what was one of the first things I did? First thing I did, proudest moment of my life, was going to the PAL. My mother had a side job after she retired, and I told her, you ain't never working again. And I saw to that until the day she died, number 1. Number 2, I looked at Mom one day and I said, Mommy, remember when you told me to shut up? That I couldn't say anything because I can't even take care of myself, let alone a woman? I said, well, not only am I taking care of myself, I take care of you. So obviously, I can take care of a woman. Do I have the license to say something now? Very, very simple.
I think that's the perfect place to end. So Stephen A. Smith has worked his whole life just so he could tell his mother to kiss his ass. It all boils down to the mama. Oh my God. Maid, what'd you say, Hyvad? A maid, a mule, and a mattress. Heavy on the mattress. Shout out to Erica De Niro. That's what he want. That's what he want. He doesn't, you said a word. He doesn't see women as people. He talking about she got to work, have your own life, but my house better not smell like Pine Sol. You ain't even coming with the right, you know what I'm saying? You ain't saying the right shit. There's been plenty of women out here, like you said, T. Portia ain't gonna go over there and work. The expectation is I'm gonna need to quit all my jobs. But the first thing he said was, what was that word he said? The expectation. What did he say? Because I liked it. He's got mommy issues. What did he say? It shouldn't be an expectation. Y'all ain't tell me I'm not sharing. You say it always comes to relationship with mama. It is. Yeah. Okay, so right here he's talking about, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing. Sorry, y'all. Um right now he's talking about, how his father wasn't good to his mother.
My mother was deprived of a lot. And all she ever asked me for is that I would never treat a woman the same way. So the same mentality that I have with my daughters is the same mentality that I've always maintained with any woman. If they hungry, it's because I'm starving. So there's no such thing as me going out on a date with a woman and you paying, we going Dutch. Mm. There's no such thing as, you in my life and you struggling, but I'm thriving. No, you gonna thrive or we gonna struggle together. That's how I roll, because I literally see, I can still visualize the tears in my mother's eyes and the hardship that she endured. And I'm just not built like that. The mistake a woman would make, to use the example that you used with the girl that you mentioned, appreciation can never turn into expectation.
That's it. Appreciation can never turn into expectation. But where does he appreciate women? I'm missing it. And the expectations are, to me, not realistic. Most of the girls out here, if you ain't taking care of them, you lucky to get pawn saw. This is another thing I don't understand. And this is why I believe, like y'all said, that he doesn't like women. You have a woman that's successful. She working, in order to be successful, obviously that means you need to work hard at it. We all do. We all have our jobs, and, based on whatever your home situation, if you've got kids, you got to come home, cook, clean, what have you. But when you have money, like he claims to have money, and Cam both, because, this was right up his alley. Both of these men know that without their money, they probably wouldn't. And Cam is decent looking, and it's not, it's not about the looks, because, we know Trick Daddy out here getting groceries ate. So, some people's standards is just that low. But you have access to all this money. Why is it a requirement for me to cook? Why don't we have somebody do that? Why aren't we having housekeepers? I have friends, wealthy friends, single women that don't cook or clean. They have housekeepers and stuff come take care of it because they're working hard and they have to travel with their work. So, and I'm not saying don't cook, but why is it that she got to go if she ain't cooking? If you get a hot meal, why I got to cook it? How come we can't get our person to do it? That's because he needs to have some type of, and it's almost like he's like the last word. He talks about his sisters and their accomplishments, but that she can cook and this one can clean. He's such a yuck. What does that mean? Appreciation cannot lead to expectation. So if he likes you, don't expect more from him. I took it like this, because this thing, I've had this argument with my own partner. I had to explain to him cooking is not my job. And when you're the mother of the house, the kids, the partner, the husband, whatever, they have this expectation. I at this point, I'm semi-retired, and the kids are grown. So if I'm cooking, it's because I want to. You know what I'm saying? So you should appreciate that. This is his thing. He talk about, all we're good for is cooking, and, what'd you say, mattress maid and a mule? That's exactly how he sees us as women. So for me, I'm a good cook. I don't love it. I get tired of trying to figure out, everybody asking me what's for dinner. So as the mother of the household, the matriarch of the household, you got to figure out what's for dinner. You got to go get the groceries. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, why do I got to figure out what y'all are eating? Like, is nobody gonna? There have been times where I sit around and I'm like, I'm not cooking, and I'm gonna just see if somebody get up and do something, and then they sit around until they look at the clock and they see I ain't moved, and they're like, "What's for dinner?" And I'm like, "I'm free for all. Do what you want." But do you think when it's free for all that anybody? And sometimes, but most of the time, when I say figure it out, everybody goes to figure out what they're going to eat personally. I had to tell my youngest, like, stop cooking just for yourself. If you're going to cook, then cook. Don't cook when, taking things out the freezer, preparing a meal just for you. I never do that. So as a woman, for me personally, if I'm cooking, you should appreciate it and don't, start turning it into an expectation. So, for him, I guess it's his pockets. If he's spending money on you, you shouldn't expect it. You should just appreciate it. And I feel like it goes both ways, my nigga. So if I feel appreciated, I'm going to cook you a meal with love, but don't make it an expectation. If your ass is hungry, maybe you should hire us a chef because we're rich over here. Remember, he said he wants her to work. So if he wants his woman to work, she's got to be intellectual. She's got to have good conversation. These all lead, are descriptions of successful women. And if she's got to work so she can have her life and, and then she got to come home and cook for you. And if you come home and smell pine sol, nigga, that means your house is clean and you should appreciate that. That's what I think. Whew, what a headache. I mean, y'all are out here looking for a man and a man and a man and a man. So yeah, I hope that's the answer to some of y'all's, life happiness, I suppose. And I'm not even speaking as a single person, but I do value myself. And, there's that. We're going to end here. We're not your mother. Go to therapy. And then like that, I thought that was terrible. I went through my life. I got all my success. And before my mother died, I told her, I take care of you. So now I get the last word. Is that what you're saying? Now, mama, so you shut up, mama, because I'm paying all the bills. I take care of you. So now I get to speak. And I feel like he's not even using that in the right context. I feel like he's not using that in the right context. If the sisters are the one running around cooking and cleaning, she probably was like, shut up. They're about to feed you. He's taking it to a point of, yeah, just wait until I get mine. And I'm going to tell you to shut up. We're going to end on this note today. Oh, wait, two things. Let's go here. I wanted to talk about this right quick. This young lady, what's her name? This is the funny thing. Lexi Brown. Lexi, we did not know you. You came over here. Clearly you want a little more notoriety. Child, I'm going to let y'all hear. She's upset because Meg Norclay came over here to defend her name. So let me let her talk.
Do know each other because we both play professional basketball. I would have considered him a friend. I do not know Meg Thee Stallion at all. Today, I'm still the only person that has. Me and Clay do know each other because we both play professional basketball. I would have considered him a friend. I do not know Meg Thee Stallion at all. Today, we denied this entire situation of my involvement and claim that this is 100% false. And the fact that I'm still the only one that is defending my name, I have no idea how to process that. Denied this entire situation. There's this massive outcry for protecting Black women, and nobody has mentioned Lexi Brown's name in any of those conversations. I wouldn't have minded if either one of them came out and said it, because at the end of there's this massive outcry. At the end of the day, they're the ones that are in the relationship. They're the ones that are dealing with this, and they're the ones who are communicating with each other. So one of them, if not both of them, know that it was not me. It could come from one of their teams. At the end of the day, they're the ones getting threats on my life. I was getting threats on my health. My family started getting comments and threats from people. I've had to hire security to travel with me places. So it got to a point where I just was scared, getting threats on my life. I was getting
Okay. Couple
threats
things.
on my.
First of all, threatening somebody's life and their family and all of that is so lame. Like, I don't know why that's a thing to go threaten somebody over this. Because Clay cheated is wild. I'm not saying the lady is a lie, but I feel like they all do that. Every time something happens, they be like, oh my God, people are threatening. And I guess they do. There's a lot of weirdos out there. But girl, thing two, why would you think Meg need to come over here and say anything? She did not mention your name. She said Clay cheated. The internet was over there mentioning your name. She can't prove that you weren't the one. But what we do know is whenever this came out, Clay ran to the internet the very day that Megan posted that he cheated. Clay ran over to Instagram to unfollow her. So if anything, to me, that put eyes on you, girl. Talk to Clay. Third, whatever number I'm at, you could have just shut up. You could have simply posted, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Just like Meg did. Leave me out of their mess and let it be. We don't know you, Lexi. I didn't. You maybe, now we will. I will be like, that's that girl that they said was cheating with Clay Thompson. I don't know. I feel like Meg doesn't owe you anything. So for you to even be over here like halfway in tears, I think it sucks that if you didn't have anything to do with it, that people came for you. But girl, the fact that you saying you need Meg to clear your name, you sound crazy. That's not what we're gonna do. So now that the fire is out, we talk about other things, protecting Black women, protecting you, girl. Talk to Clay about that. So I'm going to end here. It says a Philly student. Oh, a lot of stuff coming out of Philly. Philly student claims that the school board has threatened to expel him after posting videos of his classmates struggling to pronounce words like silhouette and extraordinary. That's insane. They're trying to stop me from going to prom and walking at graduation. I mean, if you ask me, let me get in a little bit deeper. A Philadelphia high school student is now facing possible expulsion after posting a viral video showing classmates struggling to read and pronounce words like silhouette and extraordinary. The student, who attends preparatory charter school, garnered millions of views and sparked an online debate about literacy in today's school system after posting this content. If you ask me, he should be rewarded. He should be the prom queen and clearly the valedictorian, because the rest of these people can't even read. And that's on the parents too. They should all be called to the table. While revealing he had been contemplating releasing a third video of his classmates, he expressed hesitancy, alleging that the school board is considering disciplinary action for his post. He claims the punishment could include possibly missing prom, being barred from graduation, or even expulsion. Do y'all think that's fair? It's absolutely not fair. The school board needs to be looked at for this being a situation at all. So let me let y'all listen to this, and then you can let me know what you think.
You wore a suit, clothes that were... Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat Gertrude?
Now explain what that means.
I don't know.
She wore a sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat gooch.
What does that mean?
She wore a lot. Wait, she wore. Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
She wore a. Oh, baby. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were. Bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why I do.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary, but somewhat gauche.
All right, now what does that mean?
I have no idea. Like it's cool, taste or something like that. She wore a. I don't know what this should say. I don't know what this should say. I don't know what this should say. I can't read it. Can't read it. Can't read it.
get that index card for me.
She were.
This is so sad. Why? These are like, look like they're about to graduate and they cannot read and don't know what that means. I think the G word that they couldn't get to was gauche. So she wore a silhouette that was extraordinary, but somewhat gauche. I think that's what because they couldn't ever get to that. They couldn't get past extraordinary. I don't think extraordinary, that's a middle school, elementary school word, I feel like. It's very sad. And the fact that the school board wants to punish him for exposing this says even more. They were putting out the statistics and, how horrible the graduation rates and, the school system in general is. We know it. They put out the statistics and I feel like, this is another one of those things that's on the parents for me. Ain't no way in the world that I would have been able to get here. My mother, we read together. So, and I told you I had to. I remember going, she had put me in this little program. That was like a couple, weeks of going, like one of those reading centers. Cause I told y'all I have dyslexia and it helped a lot. In terms of, I used to have words so twisted. I used to need to use my finger, you know what I'm saying? But I could read. These kids can't even read. The sad part is all of these children carry smartphones that they could look up the dictionary, the meaning, and the pronunciation. Why do that? Because, that's too, I remember my daughter telling me that, and this was when she was probably in middle school, that they're smarter because they have access to things. And I said, then why do y'all act dumber? Because like you said, that's just lazy. And sad. And it's very sad. When I was teaching, and I'm talking about, since we're going to attack cosmetology, schools, as a cosmetology educator, I made my students take turns to read out loud. And I did find one that couldn't read. So I didn't lean on her necessarily, but, I tried to make it easy for her. But you're here, you're on a college level. And so this is part of the classroom and you're going to read. I, as a person with, like I said, with dyslexia, it used to be uncomfortable for me to read out loud. And then I was like, forget it. I got over it. But when you have students who are in high school who can't get past this, sentence with not words that are not that difficult, and then the administration wants to punish the student that put it on blast, think they need to be put on blast. I think the parents, should also be put on blast. Because why? If you see your kids struggling, you know what I'm saying? There's tutors available. My kids did homeschool and tutors were still available. There's activities, there's things that you can look into to help your kids get to the next level. So this is the future, y'all. And if we don't do something about it, then, I don't know what to say. The future is bleak because this needs to change. And yeah, shout out to this young man that exposed this. Like I said, y'all want to take away his prom. What y'all need to be doing is celebrating him. Somebody come get him on their sofa. You boys over at the Jams, get this young man on there, because he's like, obviously he can read, but in a situation, this is my issue with charter schools too. They attend preparatory charter school, and what good is it? You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to try. They laugh and they think it's funny. It's not funny. It's a tragedy. I don't like to end on tragedy, y'all, but I think that's an important place to stop. It's Monday. It's past lunchtime, or it's time to get here on lunchtime. What'd you say, T? The parents don't see nothing. They're not checking homework and they don't show up to parent-teacher night. That's true. Charter schools are a trap. I agree. I homeschooled homeschool virtual school. It's similar. I'm not the teacher, I'm the coach, but it did help me be more involved in what was going on in the classroom, so I could, be more helpful to my kids. But I sent my youngest to charter school and just for third grade. And I pulled her back out because I was like, this is, she's learning less over here than than she was in public school. And it felt like all the work was put on me. I did more work as a parent with a charter school second, third grader, and then I did with her being at home, because during virtual school she was in class, she was with her teacher, there were videos and different tools and different programs that the kids could do to help them learn and help the parent be involved. These parents ain't doing nothing. They have taken away most of the public schools here. That's true. That's unfortunate, because if you can't afford private school, then what's your option? Charter school? And charter schools don't always have teachers that are certified. There was a story the other day I seen of a teacher, a substitute teacher, had a manic episode in the classroom, and the teachers already knew. She put her hands on the student around his neck and did something, talking about she was $1 million, whore, prostitute, or whatever she said to the boy. She was clearly, though, out of her head. And the school board already knew that she had mental health issues, but that didn't stop them from hiring her as a substitute. I feel like a lot of times this technology isn't, it does a number on us who know how to read, because we're so used to scrolling and autocorrect, and we don't want to spell it. We just let the phone spell it for us. That's that. So if we operate that way as people who know how to spell and know how to read, it's detrimental to the kids. You got to bring actual books back into the household and sit and read. I read with my kids. So, and now I'm starting to read with the grandkids. He'll finally sit still long enough to listen to a story, but that's tragic. And, we're going to have to do better. The school system is only going to get worse. So this is definitely a good time to shift and redirect. You know what I'm saying? Put our kids in a position, where they can learn accuracy in terms of reading, writing, and arithmetic, y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. Oh, y'all still talking, so I'm still talking. You said regardless, it's all about the parent-teacher relationship. These parents need to start having relationships with the teachers. It goes both ways. Even if the teacher is trash, if the teacher is trash, she needs to be confronted. Why is my student having such a hard time reading? You can't leave it up, to the school board. Obviously, they don't care. We say that girl on Bell Collective laugh at her stuff. Yes. And I don't know if y'all are watching Bell Collective, but there was a scene this past week where one of the Bells, her son said he told the teacher to get off his meat. And she giggled. And I was like, what the heck? What was funny about that? You told the teacher to get up because he was being a class clown. The way he told the story, obviously, tried to make it seem like the teacher was guilty. They're good for that. She was being a class clown. The teacher said to ignore him because he's trying to get attention. And his response was, get off my meat. And he told his mother, and his mother giggled. And my mother, after, a good swish a swash on my ass, I would have had to go back to the school. And we would have had to have a conversation where I had to apologize. And then her and the teacher would be like, so now what do we do? What punishment do we feel like is appropriate for that type of behavior? That's how teachers and parents need to be, in communication with each other. You said learning to read is a part of learning speech. People are clearly not reading to their children. No, they letting Miss Rachel do it. And although that's great, we need to sit down and understand, Miss Rachel is there, for the babies. She's not there for the children. The children need to sit down and for parents too. When you get involved in what your kids are learning, it's a refresh. It's a refresh of, math, history, reading. It's a refresh of all of it where you can stay in tune to what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And add to what they're learning and hold teachers accountable. Which Bell was that? Oh, her name is Kayla. This is Bell Collective Birmingham. Are you watching Bell Collective Birmingham? I've been putting it off. I got all the 4 of the episodes. You know, there was so much. There was Bell Collective. They're brought in Birmingham. Then there's Love and Marriage Huntsville. Then there's Atlanta Housewives. And they're all on the same 3 days that I go to work. So the scheduling has been difficult for me. But now that Bell Collective, the original, is on break, I'm going to go ahead and okay, well, I'm reviewing Birmingham. I'm not going to be live today, but I will starting next Sunday. Next Sunday, I'm going to start doing Birmingham, Bell Collective Birmingham. High Vibe, you'll like it because these girls are professional. Stormy is over there doing her thing. So I've been enjoying it. I've just been trying to figure out like how to find time to incorporate everything. Y'all, me and T are going live tomorrow to do Real Housewives of Atlanta tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and schedule it tonight. So if you have been watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, or if you haven't seen me and T do what we do together over here, you know, we've done it a couple of times, but yeah, we're going to go live tomorrow at 7 to do Real Housewives of Atlanta. But yeah, he told the teacher to get off his meat, and she giggled. She thought that was funny, and it's not funny. And the fact that these kids are over here and can't read a simple sentence, and the school board wants to punish the child that exposed it, says everything I need to know. Yay, she'll be there at 7. Okay, on that note, I'm about to get out of here because I got some things to do. And yeah, sometime this evening, you'll get Birmingham, Bell Collective Birmingham. And tomorrow, along with me going live with T, I'll be posting Huntsville. I ain't feel like going live with Huntsville because it's not really worth it necessarily. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And yeah, see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.